self-love, but I want us to be conversational. So let's share. You could ask me questions. I can ask you questions. Or you could contribute or come up with an idea that I believe can help everyone that is watching and listening to us.
Yeah, self love specifically is really the foundation of character. You know, there's a song that I listen to, and the lyrics go, "Self love is the best love." You know, you can't really have a strong relationship with, whether it's a friend or a spouse, without looking into yourself first.
That's true. That's true.
Your relationships and how you talk to people is a reflection of how you talk to yourself.
Exactly.
So especially in relationship, people say in relationships it's 50-50, but in reality it's 100%, 100%.
That is true.
It's 100%. Like, if you're only giving half of yourself, and they're giving half themselves, then it's not as strong as it could be.
It's true.
But I know you know a lot about balancing those relationships. But you, as a CEO, as a businessman, a father, how do you navigate through those healthy boundaries and really exhibiting what it means to love yourself?
Thank you so much. I mean, basically, what I have learned is that you can't give what you don't have.
Right.
Okay. And if you're going to give something out to someone, first you have to make sure that what you give to that person is something that is going to be appreciated, or something that could be of help. Okay. I've mentioned, as a CEO, as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as a father, as a king, and all of these things, I learned to accept that I am one person who has different gifts. Okay. I mean, I have different gifts. And like most of us do, we all have different gifts. God gave us various gifts and talents and abilities. And as I've looked inside myself, I realized that these are gifts that I cherish. These are things that I love. And because I love these gifts, it makes me love me, to be able to use these gifts to love others with. So what I've done is that I compartmentalize things. For example, when I'm home, I'm a father and a husband.
Right.
When I'm in the church, I'm a pastor and a teacher. When I'm in the business, I'm a leader and a boss. Right. When I'm in the kingdom, I'm a king and a servant. And when I'm in the world, I am the people's servant. Right. So I learned to wear the different hats at different times when the need occurs. And there are certain times that I have to function in all these areas at one time.
Right.
So I feel, my boundaries is when I'm with you, knowing you well, you grew up here, you are the son I knew, and just to see you operate in the areas where you operate. You could just say, when you were a kid, I spoke to you as a kid. When you became a young man, I spoke to you as a young man. Right. Now that you are a man and you are doing big things, I speak to you in that same area. Right. So I know the boundaries. I know that, hey, I can't talk to you like I used to talk to you when you were a little kid. Right. Because you were a little kid. Now you are a mature man. So I put aside those talk. I deal with you in your level, understand what you're doing, to be able to even support what you're doing, and also see the great things that you're doing. So I've learned my way around the things that I do in the various spaces that I operate in.
Right. Wow, that's amazing. And you were saying, to what you were saying, how you were a father, a CEO, and you're wearing all these hats. How do you sit back at the end of the day and reflect? And of course, these are good deeds. So how do you congratulate yourself? How do you be like, I did that. I did that.
Yeah. Well, I think at times you wish you could do this. Oh, you've done a good job. And look over your shoulders. Yeah. Right. There are times what I do appreciate when I feel satisfied for achieving a good result. When you do something and you do a good job and you've done your very best, you love what you've done, It's just like loving yourself. It's like, you know what? I appreciate that I was able to do this. I did my very best, and what I did was positive. What I did was helpful. What I did changed life. What I did put a smile on somebody's face. Or what I did, importantly, glorify God.
Right.
Ultimately, you can't even love anyone if you don't love yourself. And love comes from God.
Right.
And anyone who loves, the Bible says, is born of God and knows God. So for me to love myself, first is to acknowledge that there's a God who is love, who loved me, created me, and he gave love for me. So the love that I have for me, I have to appreciate it. Love the love that I have to be able to give the love. So I have seen over the years that in the various spaces or the various roles that I play, I'm satisfied by not condemning myself. I'm satisfied by not seeing how horrible and terrible that I am, but by saying, God, I thank you that at the end of the day, I can smile because I've done my best. And it's all out of love. Some people think when you talk about self-love, you are talking about for selfish reasons. No, it's not the case. Self-love actually means that you accept yourself. You know your limitations. You know your strengths and your weaknesses. And also you appreciate the fact that you are actually doing something that is positive. So you love yourself by appreciating who God is in you first, what he's made you to be, and also how you can also contribute to others' life through love.
And sometimes I feel like it's harder to get to that level of self-love, especially in the age of social media, because we scroll, and we see a perfect image.
Yes.
On social media, they add the filters, they got the lighting and everything. It's perfect, you know? So what advice would you give to, say, me, a Gen Zer, trying to, or looking on social media and basing themselves, like, with these comparisons, and, what advice would you give to them?
My advice to Gen Zs like you is like saying, just imagine, now you're a very handsome young man.
Thank you.
I mean, you got it. I mean, honestly, you got it.
I know.
And everybody that is watching can attest to it. You've got it. You are tall. You love God. You have character. You are kind. You're sensitive. You are generous. And also you respect people. Now, just looking at you and seeing these attributes, maybe it's me seeing it, but you should know that you have these attributes. So when somebody says it, it's supposed to be a compliment.
Right.
But if you follow the social media, and because of the filters, it will make you look at, man, you are not the image that is supposed to be.
Exactly.
You are too tall, or you've got beard. You're supposed, it will create so many things and create pictures and images which you would like to fit in. And many times people do that at the expense of self-hate instead of self-love.
Wow.
Instead of loving yourself and accepting that God made you in his own image and his own likeness.
Wow.
Your height is not a distraction. Your looks is not negative. It is God made you beautiful, or made you handsome, or God made you who you are because of what he wants to achieve with your life. So you have to love who you are. You have to love yourself. If you see somebody who has qualities that you admire, you can just admire it. Right. But don't say, I wish I'm this person. Just accept who you are. So my advice to Gen Zs and young people is this: don't let what people say confuse you. Believe in your own self-mirror. Don't let them show you a different mirror of you that is not.
That's right.
Accept the true mirror of yourself, that this is who I am. I can't change me. Only God can change me and make me the reflection that he wants me to be. Right. And accept yourself and love yourself no matter what. Accept the fact that social media cannot make you. It's a tool that you can use to advance your interest, but you are altogether lovely and altogether beautiful in God's sight.
That's